All the time.
All the time.
God is good.
I apologize. I feel like I'm looking down on y'all. That's a little bit high. But anyhow, but anyway, it's good to be here today. I thank Brother Bill for allowing me to come. And I know we're into the year. We're in our third month. Did anybody make a New Year's resolution? Nobody made one? Get a lot. What'd you make? This is my daughter. I picked it on her. Amen.
Amen.
Is it working? Amen. You know why sometimes, I told my wife one time, you don't have to nag me and keep on me about doing something. You don't have to remind me every 5 or 6 months. I'll get it done. Sooner or later it'll get done. But a lot of people make resolutions to do things. And if you make your resolution publicly, you're more apt to keep that resolution. That's why we have our marriage ceremonies publicly. That's why we make a public profession of faith. Those type things. If we come out and we resolve in our heart that we're going to do something, and we make it publicly, we're more apt to keep that resolution. Yeah. And I want to share with you a little bit out of the book of 1 Timothy chapter 4 today. 1 Timothy chapter 4 is, it's a lot about, I'm going to tie it into resolutions and what we resolve in our heart to do. We've got to resolve in our heart to do a few things. But in 1 Timothy chapter 4, and starting in verse 8, it says, "For godly exercise profiteth little." It doesn't say it doesn't profit at all. Godly exercise, I don't read the whole thing. Y'all, I know some of y'all can scam when I read the scripture. I'm going to read a little bit and then go back some more, a little bit back some more. I apologize for that. I know Brother Bill may read it all and then go back. I do apologize. I didn't know the structure of the service there. But anyway, bodily exercise profiteth little. It doesn't say bodily exercise doesn't profit at all. I do a little exercise. Me and the dog, I got with my daughter here, brother. She bought a dog, and my wife ended up with the dog. I didn't want the dog, but we got the dog. But he's a good partner for me. Because about 5 o'clock, 5:30 a day, he's going to come up and stick his nose in my office and say, "All right, fat boy, it's time to go." And so we have to get up and we have to go out and take a walk. We really don't take a walk. We stroll. We stroll through the neighborhood. And we talk to a lot of people. We stop. But I do get a little exercise. A little exercise is good for you. Now, is there anybody in here run? You got a runner in here anywhere? Well, I've got 2 girls that run. And if you ever see me running, you better start running. Because there's something bad going on back down there. I don't run. And I walk a few places, but I don't run and get out and get a little bit of exercise. But you know what? Some people overdo things. They overdo things. If you see somebody that's spaz, it's been a runner most of their lives, their knees and their ankles and stuff are worn out. I know I work in the jails and prisons, and there's what they call the iron pile, the weight pile. A lot of guys get up there and build up their weights and all that kind of stuff. By the time they get to my age, their hips, their shoulders, their arms, and all their joints are worn out for picking up all of that heavy weight. A lot of times we overdo things, especially on the physical side. And most of the time when we're doing things on the physical side, it's just to try to impress somebody. And most of the time it's the opposite sex, and we're trying to impress them, and we go out and we overdo these things. But it says right here, bodily exercise profits a little, but godliness is profitable unto all things. But godliness is profitable unto all things. Lord, I ask you to help us to look into your word to gain a little insight. God, encourage us, strengthen us, walk with us, and guide us. For it's in your name we pray. Amen. But godliness is profitable unto all things. How many of you want your life to be profitable? When it comes to the end of our life and we're laying by and while people are walking down looking saying, "Don't he look good?" or "Doesn't she look good?" We want our life, people to say his or her life was profitable. We want our life to be profitable. And you know what? I want my life to be profitable now. It says, having promise of the life that is now, that now is, and of that which is to come. I want my life not only to be profitable now, I want it to be profitable for the life that is to come. We want our life to be profitable. A lot of times we make our resolutions say, you know what, I want to get in better health, and I want to do this, and I want to do that, and I want to do all these things because I want to live a long time, and I want to be with my children, I want to be with my grandkids, and I want to do all these things. You know what? I do. Y'all may not believe this, but I'm doing a whole lot better than I used to be on my exercise. I'm doing a little bit better on my diet. Not a whole lot better, but I'm doing a little bit better on my diet. I mean, as much food as I eat, I ought to weigh 300 pounds. I really should. I ate like a pig. I ate like a hog. I mean, I can put food away, but I'm actually doing a little bit better because I want my life to be profitable. And I know our bodies are the temple of the Lord. We're supposed to take care of it. But you know what? That right there convicted me. But godliness is profitable. You know, I ask myself, you know, sometimes we get caught up in well, I've been doing it this way and this way and this way. Any of y'all ever get in a routine? Just get in a routine. We're going to do this. We do this way, and we do this way. And I look around and I say, you know what, I'm in a routine, and I'm not sure that my life is profitable. People look over at me and say, is that a godly man? Is my life being profitable right now? It says, this is a saying in verse 9, and worthy of all acceptation, for therefore we both labor and suffer reproach. You know, when we make a resolution, and I determine that I'm going on a diet. Any of y'all ever been on a diet? Anybody here ever been on a diet? You ever been on a diet? I'm going to tell you the hardest thing I ever tried to do in my life is stay on a diet. Doctor put I've got real high cholesterol. Got high triglycerides. I mean, sometimes it gets off the chart. And I never will forget the doctor put me on a daggum diet, cardiac diet. I thought I was going to starve to death on that diet. I had to go on another diet because I couldn't eat enough. I was on 2 diets at one time. I'm going to tell you something, folks. Did y'all know oatmeal? I ate oatmeal. Oatmeal will not hang with you like gravy biscuits.
No, sure won't.
I'll tell you right now. Ate chicken.
Yeah.
After a while, I thought I was going to throw the mattress off the bed and roost on the slats for a while. It was like chicken. You know, every now and then you just need a piece of dead cow.
Yes.
I mean, I'm about to starve to death. And you know what? But you know what? As I begin to struggle in this, you know what? It's a labor. It is a labor to stay on a diet. It is a labor. For those there's a few of us out here that struggle. I mean, physically, I need to lose probably 25 or 30 pounds. But just, you know what? It's a labor to stay on that cardiac diet. It really is. But especially when anybody, I know y'all got a plan here. Anybody like little David cakes? I don't like little David cakes. I love them. And those little chocolate Swiss rolls. Put them in the freezer. Put them in the freezer. That'll make a puppy dog pull a freight train. I'm going to tell you right now. It is. Oh, goodness, they're good. And I love them. Goodness, I love those things. But you know what? It is a labor for me to say, you know what? I'm going to eat me a banana and eat one of them little Debbie cakes. My daughter just got back from a missions trip to Nepal, and I got the privilege to watch my grandkids 3 days a week right there. And she sort of thinks that I misbehaved a little bit because I think they deserve a giant Slurpee every day after school, right? Everybody deserves a giant Slurpee every day after school. I mean, you went in there and labored at school, you need a little present out there. She thought maybe it's something that's a little less sugary might be better. But you know what? As we determine, even in our physical walk, it's a labor to get up and do the things we need to do. When you begin to strive to do right spiritually, it is. Did y'all ever notice it's a lot easier to do wrong than it is to do good? Old Bob Jones used to say, do right to the stars fall. It is a labor sometimes to do right. See, I know that none of y'all got kinfolk like I got. Anybody here got any kinfolk you just like to slap every now and then? Anybody give me an amen on that? Amen. I mean, you know, we look at sometimes it's a labor just to keep from going off. You know what? And lose our godly reputation, lose our godly testimony. Sometimes you just want to go off on some folks right there. It is a labor to strive, God, to do what God would have us to do. See, I know that nobody in this room right here has ever had anybody do you wrong, have you? Anybody here? I mean, don't bring me raise your hand. I can tell you there's a few folks done me. I've done a few folks wrong in my life. But I'm going to tell you right now, it is a labor sometimes. You know, it's easy to say I forgive somebody. I forgive them. Oh yeah, I forgive them. A little harder to do it right here. A little bit harder to do it right there. Oh, we can verbally say a lot of things. Oh, you know what? I had an uncle one time. He had a pretty bad drinking problem. He wasn't quite as bad as my daddy. My daddy was a professional drunk. But my uncle said, you know what? I can quit drinking anytime I want to. He said, quit drinking ain't the hard part. He said, stay quit. He said, I quit drinking 3 or 4 times a day. You know what? Sometimes it's hard when we stop and we say, I want to be that godly person. You know, when that godly person says, I forgive you, they really mean it. They really mean it. And they, you know, they not only mean it when they say it in their head and coming out of their mouth, they mean it down here in their heart. They forgive it. You know, when you say, you know what? It is a labor. You know, how much of a labor was it when the Lord walked to the cross? And he was hanging there on the cross and said, after all he had went through to get there, and say, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. Can I tell y'all a secret? I ain't there yet. I'm not quite there yet. I'm not there yet. They may be one or two of y'all there yet, but I ain't quite there yet. I find it's a labor for me to struggle. You know what? When we struggle, when we're walking, trying to strive to walk with God, to be that godly person, it says, therefore we both labor and suffer reproach. Every now and then, when you're striving to be godly, you're going to suffer a little bit of reproach. And you don't have to, you'll suffer it either at work, you'll suffer it at home, you'll suffer it somewhere. When you're striving to be godly, somebody's going to make a little fun of you. Somebody's going to begin to put you down a little bit. Somebody's going to laugh at you because you're striving to be godly. Well, I'm not going to see that movie. I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to. You'll suffer a little reproach in this world. But you know what? We've got to resolve in our heart. We have to resolve in our heart. And I'm going to tell you, I hadn't been quite resolved as much as I should have been in my life. And I'm just confessing. You know, confession is good for the soul. I'm going to tell you right now, I resolve in my heart that I want to be that, but godliness is profitable. I want my life to be profitable. It says, let no man despise thy youth. Be thou an example. You know what? I want to be an example of something godly. Somebody godly in this world. And I hadn't quite been there. Of the believer in word. Any of y'all ever had anything come out of your mouth that's been coming out of your mouth? You know, every now and then. I know it doesn't happen here at Connection Baptist Church. But I'm going to tell you right now, sometimes, especially in churches, people will disguise gossip as prayer requests. Y'all know that? People will disguise gossip as prayer requests. Oh, we need to pray for brother so-and-so, or we need to pray for sister so-and-so. Did you hear what happened? You know, that's a prayer request in disguise. It's just gossip. Or is it the other way around? Oh, my goodness. We got to stop and we got to ask ourselves, let no man despise thyself. Be thou an example of that godly person in word, in conversation, in charity. You know, charity here really is love. You know, be thou an example of godliness in our love for a lost and dying world. You know, when y'all go out and hang out the door knockers, and I know the pureness of your heart. But you know, every now and then people go out and just do that just because they're trying to build a church. Or are we really concerned about those people? You know, we're concerned about the people out there in this community. We're not just trying to build an organization. We're concerned about their lives. We're concerned about the troubles that they have in their household. You know, everybody has problems. You can ride by a lot of houses sometimes, see the yard so perfectly manicured and this, and you can think, I know a lady right now. She used to talk about all the time, all the problems we got, all the problems we got. Those people over there labor, it's a struggle to live that godly life here on this earth. You know what? We've got to begin to strive in our charity and our love. Why are we doing things? In our spirit, in our faith, and in our purity. Till I come, give attention to reading, to exhortation, to studying the Word. You know what? I don't know about y'all, but every so often I've done a number of different readings over my life, and right now what I'm doing is I take read through the Bible, but I listen to it. I've downloaded the thing on my phone where I can just click it and I listen to it. And while I'm reading it, I'm looking and listening, looking at the same time. And what you hear, some of us are, I'm more of an audible learner. And I hear it, I see it, and I underline it, mark it. There's a thousand different ways, but you know what? 2 Timothy 2:15 says, study to show thyself approved, a workman that needeth not to be ashamed. A few of us in this room, we find it a labor to read and study the Word of God. You think it's an accident that every time you sit down to read the Word of God, some distraction is going to come your way? I don't care. I have to get up. If I don't do my reading first thing in the morning, it ain't getting done. You can hang out of it. It's not that it's not getting done. It ain't getting done. Can I get an amen from anybody? I mean, some of us have to do it late at night. Some of us, you got to find that time for you. But I know that if I miss my Bible reading early in the morning, it's not that it's not getting done. It ain't getting done. There's too many distractions come in my world. It is a labor. Give attention to reading, to exhortation, to just going out and understanding, and to doctrine. Neglect not the gift that is in thee, which was given thee by prophecy, with the laying on of hands of the Presbyterian. Meditate on these things. You know what? We need to meditate. You know, I don't know about y'all, but it's hard sometimes to just stop and all the chaos of the world, just go out here and meditate. You know, meditation is not prayer. And I've had people tell me, man, I got a pretty good prayer life. And there may be one or two intercessory prayer warriors in this room. But you ever tried to pray for an hour? If you try to pray for an hour, you better have you two prayer lists. It is, unless you have learned, unless you have labored to strive to talk to God, praying for an hour is a very hard thing to do. But if we're going to be that godly person, we've got to learn to spend some time with God. We've got to learn to spend, and it is a labor because of all the distractions that we have out here in the world. As I said, Mary just got back from Nepal on a missions trip, and she sent one picture. She sent several pictures back, but one picture that just really hit me hard. She said, there was a picture that said, there are no words to describe the stillness, the quietness. You know, can y'all just get real quiet? Y'all hear that noise? It's the noise of the air circulation. There's little noises everywhere, and we don't even pay attention to them anymore. There's so many distractions in our world. We got to stop, and we've got to and begin to just get rid of all that meditation and spending some time in prayer with God. Folks, it's not something easy to do. Oh yeah, we can do our little. Now I lay me down to sleep. I pray my Lord that my soul to keep that. But when we begin to say, God, I want to be that godly person. Oh my goodness. It says, meditate on these things, that thy profiting, give thyself wholly to them, not halfway, that thy profiting may appear at all. See, that's what, when we want to be that godly person, we want people to say, you know what, there's something different about him, there's something different about her. They have given themselves wholly to God. They want to be that godly person that God would have them to be. Take heed unto thyself, unto doctrine, continue in them, for in doing this, thou shalt both save thyself and them that hear thee. And folks, I'm going to give you something here. It's almost like a separate thing, but it's not. You'll think it might be separate. You saw twice right there in that scripture, unto doctrine. You know what doctrine is? I've had a lot of people say, oh, but I don't want to hear about your doctrine. You know what all doctrine is a strongly held belief. What do you believe strongly? I was doing an interim for a church down county, Dr. Tual McFarland here, and we began to talk about some stuff when I got there, some things that, and I said, where's your Constitution? Where's your covenant? Where's your bylaws? And we were actually, I'll just tell you what, we're talking about social drinking in a church. And, because a lot of people do it today. And, you know, and I said, where's your Constitution? Where's your bylaws? And they said, we don't know. And so I said, get back there in the office. Somebody go back there and find some of them. And they took them a while to find them. And when we pulled that out, we read the covenant. And a man who had been chairman of the deacons twice, chairman, I just think twice, he said, I have never seen that document right there. You know, most people don't know what they believe or why they believe it. They don't know what they believe or why they believe it. And I'm going to give you one. I'm going to pick a couple of them that's big. They're pretty big out here in our society today. They're pretty big in our news. Any of y'all heard any debate over marriage? Marriage. You know, most people don't even begin to think. You know how we got marriage licenses in this country? Why we go to the courthouse and get a license from the government to get married. It comes from a thought in a complex thought on orderly transfer of property. Orderly transfer of property. How do we keep up with who owns what, when, and where, so the government would know how to send or where to send the tax bill to? Let's just say, I'll use them because I've already picked on them a couple times. My daughter Steve, my daughter's married her husband Steve. They're married. They know that the government knows that what they own, that if something happens to Steve, most of them, the general rule is going to go to Mary, vice versa. That's how they keep order down there. You know where we got our birth certificates from? Birth certificates come, so if something happens to both of them, the government knows that their children are generally going to inherit what they've got. It's just orderly, keeping order in our. How do people get married in Russia? How do people get married in China? How do people get married in South America? How do people get married in Africa? Do they trot down to the courthouse and get a piece of paper? You know what? Who established marriage? God did. God did. Well, who can change the rules? Only God. But so many Christians are running around out here and say, oh, the Supreme Court said the rules for marriage are changed. Well, the Supreme Court didn't start it. They can't change it. You know what? I just took Nancy Reagan's opinion on that right there. I said, don't do it. Just say no. Just say no. I'm not doing it. And I let everybody know around me. Anybody wants me to do a wedding ceremony? If you want to walk into a house of God, lay a Bible out like they did in the early 1800s. Family Bible. You know, some of you there may remember your grandparents, they wrote things in the Bible. Somebody got married. Somebody's birth. This happened here. You know what? There's a number of people that had to get, especially in World War I, but even in World War II, had to go get the family Bible approved when they were born. They didn't have a birth certificate where they were at. And I said, if y'all want to get married, if you want me to do a wedding ceremony from now on, we'll walk into a church. We'll lay a family Bible out there. I'll do your ceremony. But I won't ever do another wedding where there's a government marriage license. Because if they're going to sanction a man on a man, or a woman on a woman, or a man on a cow, or whatever, y'all know that polygamy is that close to being legal. You can have multiple wives. You can have multiple husbands. You can have multiple anything you want, because it don't mean anything anymore. See, our baselines. Ladies and gentlemen, do we even stop as Christians and stop and think about doctrine? It was said twice right there. If you want to be a godly person, we need to know how God feels about certain things. How does God feel about certain things? God's doctrine. If we want to be a godly person, I don't know anybody here on a personal basis, so I'm not saying anything. A lot of times people do things ignorantly. But you know what? How does God feel about cremation? How does God feel about that? I've had a lot of people say, well, it don't really matter. Well, you know, in the book of Amos, and there's several other places. In the book of Amos, chapter 2, it says, thus saith the Lord, for 3 transgressions of Moab, and for 4 I will not turn away the punishment. That means somebody's upset over some punishment. lead them into line. God evidently has a problem with burning the bones. You know, up until recently, Christians never burned their dead. Anybody here want to take a guess why we're doing cremations now? It's cheap. That's the only reason. It's cheap. I mean, I read somewhere about Michael, the archangel, and Satan fighting over the bones of Moses. There must be something. When Elijah was laying in the grave and they put somebody dead, touched his bones, the bones jumped. It was prophesied that the bones, that there's not one bone of Jesus would be broken. Is there something about the bones? Folks, if we begin to stop and say, God, how do you feel about this? See, historically, only heathen burn their dead. Christians don't burn their dead. I read somewhere about graves are going to open up. And we're going to come back. You know, where does the blood come from? From the bone marrow. Where does the blood come from? We got to stop and say, God, why was for hundreds of years that Christians don't burn their dead? Why is that? Now we're doing it. And we take things so lightly. Folks, do we really know? Do we really know? Have we ever stopped and just thought over some things? To be godly. How does God feel about certain things? How does God feel? What does God say about it? Or do we just say, well, that's cheaper, that's easier, or we're going to save space on the ground, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, or well, it's just fair that everybody should get married. Did you know homosexual marriage had nothing to do with transferring property and all that kind of stuff? It was all about trying to do away, just a great reproach on the hand of God for what God established. God established marriage. God established the family. And folks, we've gone so far from God. Do you want to be a godly person today? Oh, I've just touched a few of them. And I had a guy call me up a little while back and he said, Brother Gary, he said, my wife said that you don't have to attend church to be a Christian. She says she's not going no more because she got her feelings hurt. Well, folks, if hurt feelings, all it takes is to get you out of church. You've already got your feelings hurt today. That's all it takes. I mean, you get your feelings hurt. And I said, he said, is she right? And I said, yeah. I said, you don't have to be a Christian, go to church to be a Christian. But you do have to go to church to be obedient. And I want to be an obedient follower. Hebrews chapter 10, verse 25 says, forsake not the assembling of yourselves together as the manner of some. How does God feel about the tithe? How does God feel about tithing? How does God feel about you honoring Him? You know, these things, sometimes we don't really stop. Well, Brother Bill believes this, or Brother J.R. believes this, or Brother Harold Rose believes this, or this person over here believes this. But what do you believe? What can you sit down and look in the Bible and say, this is what I believe? I have said, you know what, if so-and-so believes it, do you really believe it to your core? Do you believe it to your core? We've got to sit down and say, what do we really believe about social drinking? What do we believe about that? See, me personally, I know that going out here and having a drink ain't going to send anybody to hell. It's not. It ain't going to send anybody to hell. But I do believe that people who have too many drinks, it makes their brake fluid stop run all that. You find yourself hard to stop a few things. When you've had a few drinks, because I never have had to worry about that with my wife, even if she drinks NyQuil. If she drinks about 2 shots of NyQuil, getting a little cold in, where she's going. She's going to bed. She's going to bed in a hurry. And, as we begin to stop and ask ourselves, how do we feel about it? How do you feel about it? What is it you personally believe that will make you a godly person? See, See, folks, I'm saying all this right here, because you know who it affects. You know who it affects? It affects your children, and it affects your grandchildren. What you do, what I do. And I've asked myself recently, some of the things I'm doing, does that make me a godly person? Am I more godly today than I was yesterday? It's a labor, folks. It's a labor. It is a labor to get in and study the Word of God. Do y'all really, 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 really believe that the Bible is the inerrant Word of God? Well, I know 2 Timothy 2:16 says all Scripture is given for inspiration of God and profitable. But is that enough that I believe in the depths of my heart and soul? Folks, it's a labor. It's a labor to be that godly person that the Lord would have you be. It is a labor. It's a labor to say, God, my charity, my love is so much that I want to forgive that person that's done me wrong. There's bitterness in my heart. There's anger in my heart. There's lust in my heart. There's greed in my heart. And Lord, I know as long as those things are there, I'm not the godly person you would have me to be. But Lord, I want to go out and help people the same way you did, God. I want to touch people's lives so that they can know you. So this godliness is profitable unto all things. But there may be a stumbling block in your life today. Stumbling block. Satan's placed a stumbling block in front of all of us. It may be pride. It may be greed. It may be lust. It may be anger. It may be unforgiveness. It may be hatred. It may be a multitude of things. I don't know. But you do. You know what it is. And if there's something keeping you from being that profitable person, that when people see you coming, they say, oh, there's that lady. There's that man. Oh, thank you, Lord, for sending them across my path. There's that person that talked to me about the Lord. There's my example. Let's be that godly person. If you've got a stumbling block, bring it and lay it on the altar tonight. You may say, well, I can make a decision. I can do whatever I want to do right here in this chair. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. But pride cometh before the fall. Pride cometh before the fall. Bringing it and laying it at that altar. This is the first step. Lord, I come praying right now. Lord, if there's one here today who does not know you as their Lord and Savior, God, that today is the day. Then say, Lord, I know I've got a stumbling block. It's my unbelief. Lord, help me. Lord, save my son. Well, Lord, this message right here today has been mostly to the church, that we may be that godly person. And Lord, you've convicted my soul of a multitude of things in my life. I've just got lax on. And Lord, I ask you to forgive me. And Lord, I pray right now that others who may see a stumbling block in their lives that's keeping them. Lord, it is a labor. It's a labor to pick that stumbling block up. It's not a stumbling stone. It's a stumbling block. It's something heavy. It's got to be moved. It's a labor. Walking with you, God. As long as we're in this old humanly body, it's a labor for old Satan